Josh McDaniels could be a candidate to rejoin the Patriots staff if Bill Belichick makes a return to the Patriots in 2024. Now, to me, the premise is ridiculous that Bill Belichick will return in 2024. Zoe's been bringing up Josh McDaniels for weeks. He thinks Josh McDaniels solves problems here. Mike Reese said the same thing.
Offensive problems.
Yes.
Yeah. Just your offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He's a better coordinator. We agree he's a better coordinator than Billy O'Brien.
We're talking like even from like an assistant
I
head
agree
coach
with
from,
that.
Right.
from the standpoint of Billy's contract is ironclad and he's here and he's coordinating Josh's assistant head coach. Like to sort of oversee the offense.
Sure,
With
Bill
Billy.
O'Brien would love that. I'm sure he'd be thrilled with that
But
return.
they've worked together before.
Last in offense. What are you going to do?
Right. It's better than getting fired, which is what
Yeah.
most guys in Bill O'Brien's situation would be in this
Absolutely.
league. You finish that low and you've scored so few points. You typically get fired even if it's after 1 year. The thing that saves him is his ties to the ownership and his hiring basically by ownership last offseason. So here's the this or that. Would you rather have Bill Belichick return in 2024 and have Josh McDaniels with him and add to the staff and the front office stays intact? That's one scenario. The other scenario is what I think is far more likely, and that is Bill is no longer the head coach. Gerard Mayo elevates to head coach, and in that process, you keep Bill O'Brien as the offensive coordinator. I think Josh McDaniels in that situation would be far less likely. So it's Mayo and Bill O'Brien running the offense, and they figure out sort of the fill in the gaps where coaches have left or Belichick's kids are gone now, and you fill out the coaching staff under Gerard Mayo with a new front office, new GM. Okay, that back row is gone. You get a new guy running things up top from a personnel standpoint. Do you want those sort of half measures with Gerard Mayo, or do you want Bill to come back, Josh to come with him, the front office stays the same, they're in charge of deciding who gets picked with that third overall pick? But in a year's time, when the contract is up for Bill and the team is again with a losing record, they take a blowtorch to it and they clear house. Everybody is out in a year. The whole front office goes. The entire coaching staff is gone. They clean it out and start over with people from the outside. Which is better?
I've seen A work. I've seen the A part that you explained work here. But different quarterback. That's the problem. But he did work with the rookie. It did work with the rookie. You got 10 games won with the rookie. And that's where you got the best out of Mac Jones. Now, there's a lot of caveats here. Like, I'd like that to stay, but change some things in the front office. Like, bring back maybe Dave Ziegler, maybe John Robinson.
Dave Ziegler. What are you getting there?
See,
what are you getting there?
It's a guy that went to the Raiders and said, you know what? Let's go get Devontae Adams. Let's go get Chandler Jones.
Okay, that's
Let's
good.
rework the quarterback. Like, we're not going to do the things the way Bill went. We went and got the top 2 free agents out there.
But under scenario A,
And a
Bill's still in
blockbuster
charge.
trade.
No matter who it is you bring
Exactly.
in,
Yeah.
Bill's the guy making the call.
Even though, you're bringing back Ziegler to help me.
Who's in
Right.
charge
Bring
in
these
B?
people in
then?
to help
Who's in
me.
charge in B?
Who's in charge? A new general manager.
So is
Okay,
it a new general manager outside the Patriots ecosystem?
Not
Is it
necessarily, because
so
I think there are good
it might
guys
be
that are good personnel guys that have passed through. doing-
Dimitrov,
Yeah.
Pioli, John Robinson?
Pioli's kind of been out of it too long. in my
You're
mind.
kind
All
of
right, John
making change,
Robinson.
but not much change.
John Robinson, who
Fair.
was ousted in
Sure.
Tennessee.
Just don't
2
trade
years
away
ago.
the receiver next time, John.
Yeah.
Okay?
Don't trade.
Hang on to that guy.
Don't trade A.J. Brown.
Yeah, don't do
Okay.
that.
I'm going to say this. You've got to go with the new general manager and Gerard Mayo as the head coach. This is the most important draft the Patriots have had.
Since the early 90s.
I mean, this is a franchise. It's a franchise setter.
Willie and Drew, I think, were picked like 2 years apart.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah,
first
Willie at
and
4.
fourth pick.
Yeah.
1 and 4. That's how you build a franchise.
Yes. You've got the 3rd pick in the draft. And you mean to tell me if your mission is to bring back Belichick for one more year, if you're thinking that right now, what do we do? What do we do? Do we want one more year of Bill Belichick? So you're going to bring him back for one more year. You've got the 3rd pick in the draft. You also have the 3rd pick in the 2nd round. You've got a bunch of top picks. In the top 100, you're going to have, what, 3-4 picks in the top 100 players?
Yeah.
You should come away with 3 starters, 3 day one starters, and the fourth one should be a contributor. 35, 40% of the snaps, that kind of guy. And you're going to turn that over to Bill Belichick, who has shown you nothing from a draft standpoint over the course of the last 5 years. If you just look at it, yeah, he's had some hits. Barmore is a hit. Duggar was a hit initially, kind of leveled off a bit. But, he's had some nuggets in there. But for the most part, the last 5 years, not great. And you're going to let that guy set the tone for the franchise even after he's gone? Doesn't make sense. Now, if you bring him back, you just say, don't make it a year. If your plan is to bring him back, then you're going to bring him back and just see what happens. It's not going to be a one-year thing.
This is my long way of illustrating that Gerard Mayo and Bill O'Brien as the biggest names on the coaching staff in 2024 is not the most horrible thing. It's not the best outcome. It is not perfect. It's not a great solution to the problem that they face. But it's better than letting Bill make the picks. That's what it is. I agree with you. It's a better situation than having Bill make the picks.
I've been asking everyone this. You guys help me, because I don't have the answer. So I know you guys do. You have the answer. We ran a poll after a post game the other day. What do you want to happen with Bill Belichick?
Wasn't it like 60-40? What was that?
It was 56% of the people said bring him back.
Oh, it was in favor of bringing him back.
In favor of bringing him back.
Oh, yes. Wow.
56%. What do you think that's about? Is it just about hey, he's the greatest coach of all time, and why would you let go of the greatest coach of all time? What is it?
Separation anxiety.
The X and O's, part of it. The coaching, part of it. Because I think there's a lot of unknown uncertainty with GMs. We could rattle off a ton of GMs that potentially could be named here. Like you look what's going on in with the Commanders. They're bringing a guy from
Bob Myers.
Yeah, Bob Myers. I remember seeing him at the NBA Finals.
And Rick Spielman.
Who's been doing it forever, but not great.
Right.
Like, what do you want? You want Bob Myers and Rick Spielman's not great. Okay, now we're turning it over to them? Like, it's one thing to have that really, really good head coach. And sometimes the coaching, like say, and you mentioned a guy. Say that, the hottest young assistant GM is out there in San Francisco and people are already
Adam
clamoring to
Peters.
get him. Adam Peters, thank you. Say John Lynch says, we're good here. I'm good here. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna go work with Bill. And say John Lynch wants to come here and be your GM. Do you keep Bill then? Like you say, okay, a guy that one of his peers
who's had some success,
who's blown some picks but bounced back.
Right.
Like he blew 3 first-round picks, but he's bounced back from it. Like I don't know who's out there. I don't.
Yeah, that's true.
It's hard.
And you know what? Hot coaching names are kind of like quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Today everybody says, "Hey, we got to have Ben Johnson. Got to have Ben Johnson as next head coach."
Yeah.
How many times have you heard that the next bright assistant and then that person kind of fails? Now this year, this is a good cycle, Beetle, with like the hot assistant, D'Amico Ryans, great. Shane Steichen, he did pretty well. I mean, those are the 2 new hires last year. Mike McDaniel, pretty good last year. Dayball, last year for Dayball, good year, coach of the year. So lately you've had some hits, but some of these names, some of these guys who Arthur Smith once upon a time was a hot coaching name. Matt Eberflus once upon a time was a hot coaching name. So you just when you look at that next guy, that's a little scary too. Maybe that's what the 56% is about. Hey, I don't know who this guy is.
Plus, you're used to things a certain way.
Yeah, I also think there's a smart segment of the Patriots fan base, probably a big part of that 56%, that doesn't believe there will be a true head coaching search, that doesn't believe they're going to actually, in earnest, look at a bunch of different candidates and figure out who's the best available guy that we can have be our head coach. I think a lot of people just assume, they're going to turn the keys over, throw the keys at Mayo.
Maybe that's why they're taking their time.
And maybe people just say, well, that doesn't feel like they're going big or they're going to do something to really dramatically improve their coaching staff. That just feels like they're bumping Bill out and the rest of the pieces remain.